Hello and welcome to episode 79 of the Maine Yarn Podcast. Hi, I'm Julie.
And I'm Jen.
And today we have a lot of sun. And
it'll go away in a second.
Yeah, and all kinds of things to talk to you about, which we call segments. So what do we have, Jen?
Oh, what we're working on.
Yeah. We're going to talk about what we're wearing, though, too, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I cannot be trusted with anything in this episode. I just had about 75 false starts, so that's why Julie introduced us.
And maybe some outtakes.
Okay, so the first segment is what we're wearing. How about that?
Yeah, then we'll go into finished objects.
And what we're working on.
And then what we want to work on next.
And some shop talk.
And some knit astrophies.
And a little making stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, let's get into it. And
we did it.
All right, thanks for joining us this month, and we'll see you later.
All right.
Okay.
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? I'm getting a little warm too, and
Yeah.
You must be getting
I'm getting
more
warm
warm
too
because of the sun. Yeah, it's been. It was a cold, rainy week.
Yeah, and now
then,
look at it.
I know, isn't that
It's
gorgeous?
amazing.
Look
Yeah.
at that. And the sun came out while we were putting together our outline, and man, it's gorgeous out there. But
Yes.
we're not quite warm enough to do our podcast out there yet.
Not quite.
It is early March, I think.
It is, although we do have a lot of knitwear we could be wearing.
We do. I just don't know about the wind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's windy or not.
Maybe next month.
Okay.
We'll think about next month.
Yeah, April's iffy, but we could probably do it. All right. So while you're suffering there in the sun, what am I wearing, you asked me?
Yes.
I am wearing... Oh, goodness. So we'll start with the t-shirt. Ta-da! This was from our design from 2 years ago. This is our dragon who's knitting. I can't do it backwards, but there she is. She's knitting. And if you look closely, you'll notice she's knitting with lances. So I'm assuming she took down some dragons and or knights.
Yes, took down some knights. Yes.
She took down some knights and used their lances for knitting needles. And maybe that's just why she attacked them in the first place.
Yeah, and maybe those knights were called lance, but maybe they weren't.
Probably. That's what all my knights are named. Yeah, so this is available still in shirts. We might have 1 or 2 bags left. They have been going fast. We'll talk more about the bags in a future segment. So, because we might have a new design now.
Yep.
All right, what are you wearing?
Yeah, well, I'll go with the t-shirt as well. So I'm wearing a classic Maine Yarn Podcast t-shirt.
Yeah, and that style is not available anymore because...
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, if you grabbed yours, it's a collector's item now.
Yes, it is.
If they come up with more V-necks from my supplier, I will definitely add another V-neck. But that design is available as a coffee cup, say. Let's see.
Yes.
Ta-da. There it is. And other shirts.
Yeah, you could get a black crew neck t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Still? Yeah.
And a hooded one, which is pretty cool. I like my hooded long sleeve one.
Yeah.
So it's still available if you want to show off your Maine Yarn Podcast swag.
Yeah.
And then, all your other Maine Yarn Podcast listeners will find you places and be like, hey, I listened to that too. It's how we find other knitters in public if we're not actually knitting.
Yeah. It has happened. It's true. Happens quite a bit. And then, but that's not the only thing you're wearing that's yarn related.
It's not. I'm also wearing this sweater. This is the Spark Cardigan by Andrea Mowrey.
Or Sparkdigan, as I think it should be called.
So it's got this cool design.
It's very cool.
It's very cozy, and it was great earlier today when it was cold. I'm going to take it off in a few minutes, though, because I'm getting warm. But it's got these... I made my sleeves a little long, which is cool because I never get like super long sleeves. So to be able to roll them up is a fun thing for someone like me who has long arms. And usually my stuff comes to this point, and I have to live with it.
Yeah.
So I pulled it up to 3/4 length to pretend like I wanted it that way. Not that my shirt doesn't fit me properly, but this one does because I made it. And this is made with Juniper Moon Farms. I have a note here. Santa Cruz, organic merino. And Entropy DK, which we don't carry in the shop currently. We'll have to see if we want to get that back. But it is a kind of the color change is all happening within the yarn.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, cute. What else are you wearing?
So I'm going to start with this one because it's going to come off first, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit as well. But this is one of my finished objects. I'm going to talk about it in a couple of segments, to be honest.
It's very pretty.
Thank you, but it's my first...
It doesn't look knitted.
No, it's not knitted.
Wow.
It's my first... So we've been doing this podcast, 5+ years? Longer?
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And I think that entire time I've been talking about how I want to do weaving.
You did, yeah.
And I took one class over that period, and then that was it. And I never did it again, even though I had a sampler loom, and now I have a bigger loom. Finally caught the bug again. So I made this myself, all by myself.
Yay.
On my loom.
We'll hear more about it soon.
Yes, we will. And then I'll talk about the yarns.
Yeah. I'm wearing a pair of hand knit socks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put my feet on the table this time.
Which means I can't either.
But this pair, it's just I assume it's like your plain sock pattern.
Yeah.
There's nothing fancy about it, but it was a souvenir yarn you bought me from Alaska when you were there a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Which is where I was born. So it was kind of cool. But it's in my kind of green stuff. Are you pulling your foot up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'm also wearing handmade socks. Come on, we can do it. I didn't put them on the table this time.
Okay.
And
I'm just not that stretchy.
And they're made from Goosey yarns.
Goosey fibers.
Goosey fibers.
Yes.
Yep.
I have some Goosey fibers for something else I'm going to talk about later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I haven't bought that in a while, but
Yeah.
it's still nice stuff.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
And is that it? Oh, yeah. Then I'm also wearing this sweater that it's a cardigan. It's called the Anstruther cardigan. I put it out on Ravelry. I designed it myself years ago before I was on Ravelry.
Yeah.
But it's made out of Bartlett yarn, which Knitwit now carries.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And I love the color, of course, because it's my purples. And it's called Anstruther, which is a little fishing village in Scotland. I used to live near there. And it's kind of your classic fisherman type.
And someday you'll design it
cardigan. Yes.
into a pattern for people to purchase and
yeah,
themselves.
I know. I really have to. I think it's because I've had it for so long that it's kind of started to felt itself, that it's hard to replicate this stitch gauge. So I will design a version of this. I have been asked for that many times, so I need to get on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Cool. I think that's all. And now
Now we go into
it's
finished.
warm, so take off my sweater. I'm still wearing the hand knit socks, and the t-shirt. Obviously. We're not that kind of
Thank you for not taking your socks off, at least. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's level 2. Level 1 is Julie puts her socks on the table. Level 2 is either of us take our socks off and put them on the table. That would be going too far.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to keep our clean rating, so. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know what the next level was going to be and how you were going to describe it. So.
All right. What about finished objects?
What are we talking about now? Finished objects.
Yes.
I have 2 finished objects that I did not bring here with me.
Okay.
Because
it's so far away.
Well, yeah. Well, first one are in my son's sock drawer, and I didn't want to go in there.
Understandable.
It seems like a scary place.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I made him the Kawa-sockies, which I feel like I've talked about here many times. It's my favorite pun. He likes to ride Kawasaki dirt bikes and so forth. And so I found this yarn made by Smallidays fibers that we carry in the shop. In this, I think the colorway is actually called The Secret of the Ooze. So it's a
lime
reference
green
to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And how they became mutant Ninja Turtles.
But you can picture the green, even if you're not familiar with Kawasaki green, you can kind of picture the green from that reference.
Like a lime green, whites, and then this fiber has like little dashes in it. It's called their Quasar fingering. It's like little dashes of black. Yeah. So it kind of brings all those colors together. And I made them on my circular sock machine.
Yay!
So that was fun. And my second pair I finished. The first pair I finished is my other finished object, and that pair are hanging in my bathroom drying.
Okay, that's why.
Them.
Yeah.
And that I made at Good Karma Farm out of their Good Karma Farm sock yarn.
Nice.
And
that's who you bought the sock machine from.
Yes, I bought it from Jim up at Good Karma Farm, and then I went up there and took sock school, he calls it. So I just sat with them for 3-4 hours and cranked out a sock.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
Yeah, that was fun. And I learned a lot, and I have a lot to learn still, but there's a ton of resources on circular sock machines online now. I don't know how people learned it before, because the manuals that come with those things are pretty sparse. And then, yeah, there's all kinds of things to learn. And then I picked up a ribber. I don't think I told you that yet.
No.
So sock machines.
You're ribbing me.
There'll be no frogging. The sock machines, the way they come, don't do ribbing. But on these 2 pair of socks I've done so far, I made mock ribbing, which is basically where you remove the 4th stitch if you want a 3x1 mock rib. And so it just leaves like a little bit of space between those
like
stitches.
an indent.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
And it helps bring it in a little bit so they still stay up nice.
Yeah.
But with a ribber, it actually puts a thing on the top, and it makes some of the needles come out, and some of the needles are coming up, and it makes purl stitches. I have not tried it yet, but I did watch one video on YouTube.
We should show people the sock machine at some point.
Yeah, I'll get a video.
Because I think, yeah.
It's pretty cool, especially like just when you're cranking it.
Yeah.
You know, because it takes a little time to set it up. It takes a little time to do heels and toes and like the cast on and the bind off, but the long like stretch of leg and stretch of foot just whoop, so fast.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
So nice, yeah. So it's not like instantaneous. It's not like push the button and the sock pops out. Like, you know.
Yes.
That'll be the Star Wars sock machine. Star Trek sock machine.
I
Sorry.
don't know. I like. Yeah.
Because Star Wars didn't have a replicator.
Yes. Sock machine. I think we should interview your sock machine in one of the future podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to be its voice.
Oh boy.
It'll be fun. All right.
And I think we need to do that like in a bar.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Us with the sock machine pretending to talk for it.
We would crack ourselves up at a
Everyone
minimum.
else would be
Yes.
like, lady, can you
Yes.
leave? What are you trying to do here?
Let's ask Heather. She'd be totally down for that.
Oh, yeah, Rising Tide.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we could totally bring it to Rising
Yeah.
Tide. I was sort of picturing Pat's.
Yeah.
But no, Rising Tide would be
Yeah,
fun.
Heather.
It's just, yeah. Should I go to the Crank-In? So,
Yeah.
Good Karma is hosting a Crank-In,
Oh.
which is sort of like a knit night or,
Yeah.
you know, a knitting retreat, but for
Yeah.
crankers.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what they call themselves. They get cranky. I don't know. I made up that one. But I probably didn't. I don't know. I might go. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because there'll be so many people there who
Yeah.
are good with their circular sock machines,
Yeah.
and I might learn a thing or two, like
Yeah.
how to use my ribber. Anyway, I got the ribber from Lori, who has been to all of our retreats so far.
Yeah.
She saw on Instagram that I had one.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got a ribber.
Oh, cool.
And so we made a swap for yarn because
Yeah.
she didn't like using it.
Okay.
So she only wants to do mock rib.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, I'll give you a free yarn for
Yeah.
our river. So
Yeah.
that worked.
Nice.
Yeah.
The terminology is cracking me up. But anyway, yes, let's keep going.
What are we even talking about?
We're talking about finished
my
objects.
finished objects. Those were
Yes.
my 2 finished
Okay,
objects.
great. And I was
Goodness
like,
gracious. I'm
so-
close on another one, but I'll talk about that because I'm still technically working on
Okay.
it.
So just as an excuse to bring this up 3 times during this podcast, this is my finished
Would you like to put it on
scarf that I made by myself. Yeah, but then people will see that it's not very good.
No, they
This
won't.
is my first solo project.
There you go. It's great.
Thank you. And I haven't washed it yet, so it'll bloom a little bit. The gaps between the stitches will fill in. And it's my first solo project on a loom, so I'm very proud of it and that I suddenly got into it. But I did want to point out the colors, the yarns that I used at this point, because it's nice and clear. So this is Barocco Remix.
Remix.
And then these 2 are both Jagger spun. And I forget the color names, but they will be on. Let's see. It's Mousam Falls anyway.
Yeah.
But a lovely pink and a lovely purple, which I've used on other projects as well. But
Nice.
just kind of grabbed something and like, I need to test this out. So it worked out. I've been
Cool.
wearing it.
Perfect.
I need to wash it and block it, but yeah, still counts.
Good.
And then other things I had finished include Hadley's mittens that she hasn't received yet, but one of my great niece,
I don't know.
has some mittens coming her way, which are striped of those 2 colors of Mousam Falls I was just showing. And then my dad's mittens that I'm super happy about. Dirty Water Dye Works is actually currently my favorite DK for mittens.
Lucia
and
DK.
Lucia, yeah, or Lucia,
Right.
is my favorite for mittens and maybe my cowl that I'm still designing.
Cool.
I might redo it in that. Next time I'm in the shop, I'll pick out some colors.
Nice. I'll make sure we have more.
Yeah,
I don't know, we
thanks.
might be running low.
There are some nice colors, but the colors I got are like a gray and yellow, and they really contrast well.
Dirty Water Dye Works
Actually, I'm going to show.
is an indie dyer out of Boston. So, yeah.
You can see here's an example to the colors. And my dad's mittens that I finished are in these colors. They're just not stripe. But
Yeah, those
had some fun picking colors.
Yeah, those go really well together. I like the way those look.
Thanks. So yeah, I love that. And there's a little bit of nylon, if I remember right, or synthetic in there. So that's why it's one of my favorites, because I don't want to make mittens and then have them wear through, just like socks. So the nylon should help with
That
that.
makes sense.
Great. So what
People,
are you?
especially if they're walking on their hands.
Yes. Which actually know some of my great nieces who are very athletic and
Yeah,
do
sure.
tumbling and stuff. Yes, that could happen. So let's go into what we're working on, right? I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. What am I actually working on right at the moment? I didn't even write it on here. I gotta add it. But luckily, I'm working on it.
It's
so I
beautiful,
wouldn't-
though.
This is the pressed
Yeah.
flowers shawl.
Yeah.
Look
And those
at
are
that.
all little flowers. You might want to show them close up.
All right. Let me just.
Remember how you were like, I'm not sure we're going to need this camera
Yeah,
today.
here,
And now
you
we're
can
using
put
it
it
every
up
2
there.
seconds.
It's because it's fun once you have it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at those
So,
flowers.
Yeah. And
Lovely.
it's all slip stitches. There's no color work in this thing. So fairly
Yeah.
easy once you get the hang of it and start chugging along. I am planning on doing a class with this pattern just for people who are a little nervous about following it, because it's a little bit, there are parts of it that are a little bit odd, but it's definitely easy. It's not color work. It's just letting this all do its thing. So this is with Lang Frida. Here, let's use it again. This is a multicolored yarn from
Cake.
Lang.
Yeah.
And it is,
Beautiful.
it's very lightly spun. So it's a little, I don't know, what's the word? A little bit, almost thick and thin in places.
Yeah.
But that's that. And then I have using with it this little guy who's Barocco's Ultra Alpaca.
Okay. Very
So
nice.
yeah, it's nice and soft between the two. And yeah, now that I kind of got the pattern sort of memorized, like it comes with a chart. So, a couple of charts. So they're not like, I don't have the whole chart memorized, but I've got the gist of it memorized now. And it's going pretty quick. I'm on the border section, so I should be done soonish.
Yeah. Great.
So, yes,
Almost
very
there.
fun. So that's what I'm working on right now. Whoop,
Yeah.
wrong camera. What are you working on?
I picked back up my Mabel. Actually, I picked it up last Thursday
Yes.
just to have something to work on. So it's been killing me because I was on Mitten Island for so long, and I still am technically, but I'm getting over it. Because I decided to make mittens for everybody and then instantly regretted it.
But I feel like that's sort of the opposite of Sleeve Island, where
Yeah.
you are making a sweater and then you stop because you don't want to
stop.
make sleeves.
It's more like I'm on Mitten Motorway. I'm writing that one down.
What?
So a motorway in England is like a turnpike or interstate.
Oh,
it's
motorway.
like mitten interstate,
Got
meaning
it.
that I'm stuck in traffic, making mitten after mitten after mitten after mitten, and not getting anywhere. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I see. All
It
right.
made sense to me.
You made a lot of mittens, though. You see how many
Yes.
finished objects you had last
I
time?
know, it's crazy, and there's still more to come. Almost there though. So yeah, I am back on the Mabel, and it's been killing me because I want to finish it because it's a winter sweater. I'm going to finish it, and I'm not going to be able to wear it, But
It could be a spring and Maine sweater, too.
it's so warm though. The Luft,
Is it?
making out of wool folk Luft.
Yeah, but
I
that's
feel
a
like
cotton.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
not like, so I made 2 of these sweaters. So my Mabel was made, I made another sweater
Yes.
from cocoa knits out
Yeah.
of that color of
Yeah.
Luft. And then I did, I made my Mabel, but
You made it out of
Which one has the V-neck?
this.
That doesn't have a V-neck. That's more of a scoop neck, right?
I think it's more of a scoop. Yeah, it's more of a scoop.
No, I'm confused. Anyway, I made one sweater. They're very similar.
Your Mabel is not in this. Your Mabel's in the green.
Okay.
Jagger spun? No, quince.
No, that's Jagger spun.
It is Jagger spun.
Berwick bulky.
Okay.
And that one is warm and heavy. Yeah. So that is a great winter sweater.
Yeah, this one will be lighter.
This one is definitely lighter because I believe it is. It's a cotton tube. Yes. And it's blown with merino. Yeah. So for the same weight of yarn for the same amount, this one is like half the weight. Okay. So if you were to take two sweaters, identical size,
and weigh them on a scale,
right?
Yeah. Not gauge of yarn, but weight.
Weight, like physical. Yeah. Like, and I'm learning in my spinning that that is referred to when you look at like that dimension. It's called the grist of the yarn. Oh, like a grist mill? I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But so that's something.
I get the grist of what you're saying. Sorry. It's gonna happen, guys.
All right. Where are we going?
What else are you working on?
What am I working on? Oh, cool. So I am almost done with
I'm keeping track.
Just straight housewife cardigan.
Yeah.
Look at this
so
thing.
Nice. It's so great.
Oh, it's so this was made with my Advent kit that I got from Emma's Yarn in the DK weight this year. Yeah. And then I took two balls of Little Fox Vixen to do my contrast color, and I held them together because Vixen is a fingering weight. Yeah. And so that's how I made my stripes, the gray stripes that are in between there. Yeah. And the edging. And I am all done with the knitting, and I am just weaving in 1 million ends at the moment. I got all the side ones done for the body, and now I'm just going down on the inside of the sleeves because every one of these rounds has 2 ends, as you can imagine. So they're just great colors.
Yeah, they are.
Such a pretty rainbow.
Yeah, it is.
So this is almost done, and then I'm gonna weaving in the ends, and then I will block it. And then I will sew on the buttons, and then it will be done.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of that one.
This is so exciting. And this is like pretty quick for me to start and stop a project, like within months.
Yeah, because you started in December of last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was
Advent.
Advent, yeah. The thing about this project, I made the size 3. She had a ton of sizes in there, so it's a really good project. But my gauge was a little bit bigger than the pattern called for because I was using DK, but I wanted to do this and not just a shawl with my Advent kit because I don't wear my shawls as much. Yeah. But I love knitting them. And where was I going? Oh yeah, so I made the size 3, but it's actually like coming out the size of the size 4 because my gauge was a little bit bigger, and that's what I wanted. I did that on purpose. Yeah. It fits me pretty well, and the problem though is this was made for a little bit thicker stripes and less colors, but I modified it to work with this. And I was playing yarn chicken like every round. And then in order to get the stripes on the sleeves, like the sleeve stripes are actually a little bit thinner than the body. So I was like, remember, I think last time you were here, we were like, all right, this is how much yarn I have. Let's cut it exactly in half.
I was walking down to the end of the hallway and you were,
we were cutting them in half. We were weighing each ball. Some of them then ended up being a little bit shorter than others, like when you couldn't get all the way down the hall, remember?
Yes.
And so there were points where, luckily the colors are pretty close to each other. Like if one of them ran short, I kind of picked up the color next to it and added it in. Like you'll never notice because it's pretty fadey. Yeah. Sorry. Mom, when we talk next time, that was you just calling me. I'm sorry I hung up because we're recording.
Hey, Jen's mom.
Hi. So there was a lot of yarn chicken involved in the making of this sweater. Yeah. No chickens were actually harmed in the making of this sweater, but anyway, I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
So what else are you working on?
What else? What's next on my list? Is it this? It might be this.
You don't have to go in order.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to skip Tucker's mittens because I already showed them. When I showed those yellow and gray mittens, I'm working on those, by the way. But what I want to show you is, like, again, 5 years in the making. my husband Scott got me this lovely Sample It loom from Ashford many years ago. And I've been saying I'm going to use it, and then I didn't. This is the small size. I don't know how well it's going to work. Let me turn it around.
Looks great.
Ooh, I just moved the camera. This is the Sample It loom. I also have from him, I didn't end up getting the floor loom brackets yet. I got a 2 foot wide loom that's like this. It's like this one, but this one's the mini one, if you think about it that way. And the scarf I was showing earlier, I made on the 2 foot loom, just using the center part of the reed, if I can call it reed.
Yeah.
This one, I'm using the whole thing because I want to test this out and make a full size shawl scarf that's up to 2 feet wide and up to 8 feet long. And the question is, like you're talking about yarn chicken, making it work, because I only have one skein of this amazing Madeline Tosh yarn, which I really, really want to use, called Antique Moonstone.
And that is the MTL plus copper.
Yes.
Because if you look at it,
amazing.
there are little flecks of copper in it.
Yeah, it's
And
so
they
beautiful.
have discontinued this.
I can't believe they did.
I know. It's so pretty.
But I have
We have
one
a-
skein.
We have a few skeins left.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that color.
Yeah. No, I don't think you did.
Did you even look?
Well,
Because you were in the wrong
but
product.
maybe I got
That
the wrong
is-
one because I
that's
got this
not
one.
MTL plus
I know.
cotton.
I know.
Yeah.
So maybe you do. I need to double check. And then don't sell them because I want them.
All of them?
Yes, all
Okay.
of them.
Every
because
color?
because I just love how these are coming out. And then this
Yeah.
is
I love the way it sparkles.
yeah, and this is Jagger spun. I bought like a whole sweater's worth of this once, thinking I was going to make a sweater out of it, and now it's turned into this obsession. Like all of a sudden, the weaving. I was going to weave. I was going to weave.
You go through a lot of your stash.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said to Scott. I was like, hey, remember how I said it'll be fine that I've got this much stash because when I start weaving, I'll be using more of it.
Yeah.
And then what I realized was, as I start weaving, I'm just going to be buying more.
Wait, do you have a mustache?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yarn.
Mr. Yarn has his headphones in, and here's parts of what we're saying.
I don't know
If
if
you
you
walk
heard
over
that.
here, we can flip the camera around and show you.
If you
No.
want.
No? Okay.
I just tied a knot in my yarn while we're doing that. But anyway, yeah, it turned into, I'm going to be able to use all this stash, and then I'm going to need to buy more yarn. So,
And
yeah, I'm going to
cool
be
with
buying more
that As a
yarn.
yarn store owner.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to encourage that. As
I'm
long
gonna-
as, using your stash responsibly.
I'm going to be tying knots in my yarn while I'm talking because I'm waving my arms around. But yeah, this is the obsession right now. So this is what I'm working on. This is really just a sample. It's a little bit too tight a weave. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, and I've changed my mind about how it's working. But at the very least, there will be stripes of this beautiful color somewhere in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you're making me want to weave. and
Yay!
To get some more of that copper yarn.
Yes, which has been discontinued.
Yeah.
So nobody buy it because I need to buy it right after we podcast. If it's there. Anyway, yeah, but if it's only one skein, I will make it work. I'll do the thing that you did. I'll divide it into two, and I'll make stripes on the ends, and the rest of it will be purple.
Yeah. Well, you could use a scale instead of just walking backwards because
Yeah.
if you've got a full skein, we're going to be pretty
Yes.
far down the road. And it's muddy outside today because
Yes.
all that rain.
Yes, and it's fingering. Yeah. So,
Yep. All right.
Yes.
I have one more project.
okay.
So I don't know if I showed you some of this last time, but I am working on a temperature
Yes.
blanket this year.
Yeah.
And I am making one of these squares for each month.
Yeah.
And they're crocheted. So this is
Yay.
my January square.
Nice.
If we want to do the camera thing because we have it.
We're not going to need it this episode.
No, we won't need it.
Look how pretty.
Just because we weren't demonstrating
Yeah.
like stitches happening. So
Yeah.
this is me crocheting.
Yeah.
Like I can
Very
see all
nice.
the problems with it, but every round represents one day, and then
Yep.
there are 2 white rounds on the edge here because I'm going to make every square 33 rounds, so that some months will have more or less.
Like February will have more white.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's January, and then here's what I've got done of February so far.
Yeah.
You can see it's a little different. We had like one warm day here,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it based on where I am that day, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. So
Yeah.
I did go to Dallas in
Yep.
January, but it was kind of cold, so you can't even really tell the difference. These are like super cold days, these dark
Yeah.
grays. But so this is based on Tori Lipsey. Tori Lipsey has a nice saying that. My mouth won't say her name right now. Tori Lipsey.
Yes, Lipsey.
I don't know why this just my mouth isn't working
Yeah.
yet. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lipsey.
And so she has like a tutorial on how to do this pattern and the stitch. It's called the linen stitch, and it's fun. It's pretty easy crochet if you are just getting into crochet, and each one is sort of portable. And then at the end, I'm going to sew them all together, obviously. But I'm making this out of a combination of Barocco's Pima 100. Those are the grays, and then the whites. But then the colors I'm using are from Quince, and I'm using their Whimbrel yarn. So they're all cotton yarns, and there's some amazing colors coming for the summer warm months. These are just all the cool colors so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not necessarily cool colors, but
They're cool. They're cool and they're cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool, man. But yeah, I've got some really pretty
Cool,
kind of
cool.
citrusy colors
Summer
coming
colors,
for summer.
yeah.
So can't wait to get warmer for a number of reasons.
Nice.
So I think that's all I've been working on.
Yeah. Well, we're brought to you by Knitwit Yarn Shop. Knitwit Yarn Shop is creating an exclusive experience for busy knitters. As a member of Club Knitwit, you will get custom dyed yarns, a pattern you'll love that won't be available anywhere else, and other goodies to make you feel pampered. Plus, you'll get time with the designers and or dyers to learn more about your special project. If you don't have time to search for your perfect project or the ideal colors to go with it, join us and we'll do the work for you. Once a quarter, you'll receive an exquisitely packaged gift to yourself. Club Knitwit is more than just a box that will arrive in the mail, although who doesn't love receiving fun mail? It's also an experience. We'll be meeting up online and on Ravelry to share our progress and get to know one another. Spots are limited. Go to knitwitportland.com and click on subscription box to get on the wait list and be the first to hear more details when we open up sales.
Yay.
Yay. Very exciting.
Yeah. All right. What do we want to work on next?
Oh my goodness, so much. I need to get back into socks. Like when I'm not knitting socks all the time because I'm in the Mitten motorway, I'm missing my socks.
Yeah.
Like the projects that sit around and call to me. Like seriously, there's an issue with me and socks. So
That's
definitely
okay.
socks. How about you?
So so Andrea Mowrey has started a make-along for her project. She's got one for shawls and one for sweaters. And she said the magic words that whips were welcome.
Oh, not please.
Well, I don't think she said. She said, "Whip this magic words, plural. Whips
Okay.
are welcome."
Okay.
And so that means if you've already started one of her projects but haven't finished it, you're welcome to join the knit along and
Nice.
do it. And I was like, I must have an Andrea Mowrey pattern somewhere in my stack of whips. So I found 3 shawls that I have started and haven't finished. Nothing
Yeah.
against her patterns because I
Yeah.
have several like cardigans that I've finished
Yeah.
and some shawls.
Yep.
But I have a problem with whips, as we all know, so we won't go there now. But I found 3. The first one I'm going to do is this one called What the Fade. So I'm
Yeah.
going to finish this. And
You
this-
should hold up your bag.
I might hold up my bag in a little bit
Okay.
in a later segment.
Okay.
So I have to figure out where I am and what this pattern's all about. But this was the one in Goosey Fibers.
Yeah.
And
So nice.
yeah, I feel like I must be close.
Yeah,
to
you must be.
finishing-ish.
It's because you did the fade cardigan. What's the fade cardigan called?
The Comfort Fade card.
Comfort fade. It's because you did that. I have a feeling that you finished this, but it's because
Ah.
I'm thinking of the cardigan.
So this was like brioche, and then now it's like garter stitch, and I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
where it's going next.
Yeah.
But I still have a ton of yarn left over. There's lots of these. So I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm going to use it all or not, but this could be a giant what the fade, and that would be awesome because then
Yeah.
it would wrap around me like a nice blankie.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to work on next as soon as I finish at least one of these projects. Not the not the blanket, because that'll be all year long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm almost done with the cardigan, and then I'm almost done with this shawl, and I want to finish the shawl so I can teach. I suppose I can teach it now.
Yeah.
I just have to get it on the calendar.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I do that, if you want to take the class, go to, if you're sign up for our newsletter, first of all, if you're not, and that's just on the knitwithportland.com website. So you can go there, but also every newsletter will have like a link to the podcast. It'll have a link to shopping and classes. I think those are the 3 I put up there. But you can also get to all our other info up there too. So
Cool.
So you have a sock. Socks are calling you?
Socks are calling me. I'm somewhat tempted because I was going to make the Weekender by Andrea Mowrey, but I haven't. So there's some temptation to join you on that. But I don't have any whips going that I can think of. And then the other thing I want to do, I want to get back into rug hooking because maybe now the weaving started up, I'll keep going with that kind of fiber arts.
Yeah.
But the weaving also, like I'm really obsessed with the weaving right now. And the reason I'm doing that sample it version is because I want to make a bigger one on my 2-foot, my 24-inch Ashford loom in those colors, figure out the stripes. I'm obsessed with that.
Awesome. Yeah, you're making me want to do it now too. Because
It's so fast.
I mean, right, yeah, you can use up a lot of fabric quickly.
Yeah.
And then, if we're ever going to do a sheep to shawl contest,
Yes.
we need a spinner and we need a weaver.
Yes, and we have those now.
Yeah, knitting I don't think is fast enough for
Yeah.
sheep to shawl contest.
Yeah.
Like go from a fleece to a sweater in
Unless you're going to just make
day.
roving, unless you can like spin it into roving and then knit it with like enormous needles. Yeah. You could. Anyway.
That reminds me of one of the classes at the retreat this summer. Alicia Plummer's going to teach her sheep sheep to skein is what she called it.
Yeah.
I knew there was some letters, similar letters there.
Yeah.
Where we're going to take like a raw sheep fleece and do some minimal processing, and then we're going to learn to spin on a spindle. And you can learn how to take your fleece and go right to a skein of yarn with it.
Yeah, nice.
So yes, but I've got my bin of fleece over there because I'm still working on that project. I guess you could call that something I want to work on too. But I was going to do that colorwork sweater. What was it called? The one by Tin Can Knits, Strange Brew.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to do that too with my hand spun. But I've got to get through a lot more spinning first.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Can't wait. All right.
So much to do.
So
Time for
that's all
shop?
what you want to work on?
Well, no, but yeah, we'll call it that.
For now.
For now.
Okay.
So shop tour?
Shop talk.
Time for some shop tour.
This is where I'm going to bring out my bag and show you.
Right.
So we saw the dragon.
Yes.
We have our new design for 2024. We have the owls. Aren't they adorable?
They are.
Those are the cutest owls ever. And this is a good size bag. This is the same size as the bear bag that if you got one last year. But we added a zipper top and a little gusset up here so that it doesn't like take away any space, but we can zip it closed, and we put the pocket back in because the pocket's pretty popular.
Yeah.
And then there's t-shirts and all the other goodies with this design too on the website.
Very nice.
Yes, this was crazy. Like I had to warn the staff. I'm like, all right, the newsletter is going out with the owl in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they spent the entire day just packing bags of packages.
Yeah.
It was like, it was nuts. This went so fast, and we still have some left. But man, in that first week, we sold about 100, maybe more. It's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, grab yours because we won't remake them.
Yeah.
Like there's no more bears left. There's no more the fish.
Yeah.
That was like
There's
our
no more of
first
these
year.
t-shirts.
Yeah, well, that's a different reason.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what we got
Yeah.
for our bag, and that was the excitement there.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then you talked about the Club Knitwit in the ad.
The subscription box.
Yeah. So that will be in a couple weeks. It will be mid to late March when it's going to become available for sale. And we have a wait list going right now.
And it's based on a draw of who's on the wait list.
No.
It's not who signed up first, or
Nope, it's not based on who signed up first, but the people on the wait list are getting updates, and they're getting
the notification.
They're going to get the notification when it goes live first.
Yeah.
So they will have a day before everyone else does
Yeah.
to sign up.
Yeah.
And just, there are more people on the wait list right now than there are spots in the club.
Yeah.
So I don't know if everybody's going to sign up, but if you want a chance to be in the club, one of the founding members, there might be a special, goodie for founding members too.
Ooh.
I've been working with my designer on that. Then we will, you probably want to be on that wait list to be first in line. And then when you get the email, click right over and subscribe, because once they're gone, I can't make more, because these are, like I said, custom dyed yarns.
Yeah.
Takes a while to dye them. You saw a preview.
Yes.
I got the first batch in, and I've got somebody making some other custom things for us.
Yeah.
Working with Bristol Ivy. She sent me a preview picture of what the pattern's going to be. I'm so
Nice.
excited. It looks so nice. And there goes Mr. Yarn. I need to click. So that they're going to be mailed out at the end of April. So you'll have this box for May, and then 3 months later you will get the next one. And that one is more of a secret.
I'm shaking my head because
What?
I'm probably going to have to sign up.
Oh, well, poor baby. I feel so bad for you. And Mr. Yarn is getting tired. Okay. Now he's going to crack open something that sounds delicious probably too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
Ooh. Sorry, pay attention to the yarn podcast, really. Yeah. Yarn podcast.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about subscription
Club
box.
Knitwit.
Yes.
And so we named it that. We had we asked the people on the wait list and some others, like, what would you want to name it? And so we got a lot of good suggestions. So I ended up settling on Club Knitwit, though, because it really kind of embodied this, like, community aspect of the club I want to emphasize.
Yeah.
And, I think at the end of their post, they said, and we all know where the clubhouse is. Which I just was like, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be like a place where we can all, come together, if that's virtually or in person, and meet each other. And these people are your tribe. So that's what I want it to be about.
Cool.
So can't wait. And then speaking of your tribe, we've got our retreat.
Yes.
So
retreat's coming up. It's very
Yeah.
exciting.
We've talked about it every time, but we've got,
It's going to be amazing food.
yes, Julie's organizing our food, so it will be good.
Yeah.
Not cooking it, even though
I'm
that
not
would be
cooking
good
it. No.
but she is organizing
Yes.
catering.
Yeah.
And Casapinka is coming back.
Yay.
She's been with us the last couple of years and has been so much fun.
Yes.
Asked her back. And then Bristol Ivy
Yes.
is also coming.
Yeah, and coming back
Coming
because she was
back.
here
She
a couple
was for
years
the
ago.
first one,
Yeah.
yes. And same with Alicia Plummer.
Yes.
She will be back and teaching this fun sheep to
Skein.
skein class.
That's
I don't
what
know
I'm
why
here
I
for.
struggle. and she's also got another one on finishing.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not. I think I went through the classes last time.
Yeah,
and they're online.
each instructor will have 2 classes.
Each teacher,
Yep.
has 2 classes, and then you get to pick which ones you want.
Yeah, you could go 2 with the same instructor if you want.
Yeah.
Or
Yep, as long as there's space.
Yeah.
So I will take them down off of the sign-up page when they fill up. So if
And
you want,
speaking of, there are still spots available
Yes.
so that's still keep looking into it. You can still sign up and join our retreat, and it's always fun.
yes, it is. Hope to see you there.
Yes.
All right, catastrophes.
I'm going to go back to this for the third and last time.
Okay.
Do you want to clarify that, again, this is a test, so I don't consider it a catastrophe in the truest sense.
Do you want the other camera?
Yes. Could I have the other camera?
Sure.
I'm interested to see how well you can see it. Do you see the line?
Kind of. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks just like it was folded there or something. It
Yeah.
just needs to be blocked.
It's not that it was folded. I forgot to list one of the yarns. One of the yarns, the warp yarn that I used.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. The weft yarn I forgot to list.
Oh.
The one that goes across
Yeah.
is a color changing yarn,
Ooh.
which is a knitter, not a biggie.
Yeah.
As a weaver, it is a biggie, and
Why?
I'll explain. Because what you do is you get a certain amount of yarn, you wind it up on this thing,
Yeah.
and then you cut it.
Oh.
So I did that,
I see
went
the
across
problem.
for a bit, yes, and then the yarn changed, and the change isn't continuous.
Yeah.
So I had such an issue, and I only had so much of this yarn because it was just a test, I was just using so much. So I went back and forth on like, I've only got this much yarn. Should I start at this end or the other end? And I
Yeah.
picked the end that I thought would show least, but you can see the stripe. So just if you're using color changing yarn on a loom, maybe somebody else has a tip to avoid this, but I would say just use it as your warp yarn, not
Yeah.
your weft yarn.
Yeah.
Which is the warp is the long and the weft is the one that goes across.
Yes.
The weft goes left to right.
Yeah, somebody said that. I remember a class where somebody said that.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't come up with it.
I don't know. Like for me, I know just warping a loom is like
Yeah.
the process of like
Yes.
putting it
Putting the long,
all
But
back and forth and
Yeah.
getting it set up.
but that's your warp. Yeah.
That's the warp. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the process. So that's the way I think of it. Like
Yes.
there's a mill in Westbrook
Yeah.
called like some kind of warp mill,
Okay.
which I don't know. To me, that just reminds me of weaving. I don't know what it.
I thought it was going to remind you of
but-
Star Trek.
No, that too.
That it was all coming back to Star Trek again.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, so that's not that bad of a catastrophe, and there isn't even actually any knit in the catastrophe. So
No, there
know.
isn't. Yeah, it was just.
it's a warp catastrophe.
Yeah, it's just something for me to remember for next time, I think.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, and I think you want that warp yarn to be extra, like a stronger yarn too, because
Yeah.
it has a lot of. It has
Yes.
to withstand a lot. So I think there's considerations in picking
Yeah.
your warp yarn.
Like my warp yarn on this test one is a little bit too fuzzy and it's making little fuzz balls everywhere. You probably shouldn't use that, but hey,
Yeah, it's a test one.
that's why I was testing it. Yep. All right.
All right, making things.
Yeah, I was going to talk about comedy, and I was just looking it up so I make sure I get the right one. So just a couple of things. I'm sure nobody will be in Maine and hear this in time, but I was going to say Julie's stand-up tour continues. So coming up next week on March 8th, which is a Friday, March 8th, 2024. So I don't know when people are listening to this. I'll be at Trinken Brewing, which I believe is in Brunswick area. That's what I was just looking up. And then I should double check though, because March 9th, I'll be at Nomad, which is definitely in Brunswick.
Yeah.
So let me just double check.
Or you could just put like your social media info out there and they can look it up.
Yeah, well, if you do
Because
follow me on Facebook, but
you
it
go.
doesn't. But I'm not a follow. You have to be like friends with me to see it. I need to work on that. Instagram is Woolly, Woulley, and Bath. So Bath is the place, not Brunswick. The Bath and Brunswick in Maine are very close to each other. So on March 8th, I'll be in Bath. And March 9th, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
And March 9th, I'll be in Brunswick for 2 shows. I'm doing 2 shows.
Wow.
I am the MC of the stand-up.
Nice.
Yeah. So there'll be more. Probably
Well,
Instagram
that's
is
why
the
I
best place
said,
to find me.
If
Yeah.
they can find you, if they miss these
Yeah.
and they want to come and see you in
Yes.
a future one, or when they're here visiting Maine for the summer,
Yeah. Yeah.
follow her on
Follow me
Instagram.
at Woolly,
at Woolly.
which is the same as my Ravelry handle, by the way, but at Woulley.
There you go.
All right. What about you? More making stuff?
Yeah, so spinning and processing my fleece. So that's, I've got a drum carder right here on the other side of the computer, just a fixture on my kitchen table now, where I'm processing this fleece.
Who doesn't have a drum carder on their kitchen table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you have a
A loom.
loom, that thing. Ashford stuff, but
Yeah.
clamped to our kitchen table all the time. Yeah, so that's what I've been making. Oh, and then also dryer balls with the leftover
Nice.
fleece that doesn't go into my spinning because it's like a little like neppy or something.
Yeah.
You could just take it and use a felting thing and make a big dryer ball, and then you you put it inside a stocking and you wash it, and like it felts down even further. And
Yeah.
that's where dryer balls come from.
Oh, good. That's
so
a-
exciting. So
That's a
I'm
good
like,
segue.
I've got some. Why is that a good segue? Oh, felting.
Yeah. Should I go into this?
Yeah, go for it.
So I have, so I went cross country skiing and realized I didn't have a hat.
That's silly.
Yeah. How do I not have a hat?
I don't know, because you knit your socks all the time.
No, I have hats, but
Oh.
the dog, the puppy, decided that she likes to tear apart my hats. So all my hats are sitting in timeout, waiting for me to pick them back up and knit them together again. So the only hat I found is this weird one I made years ago as kind of a slouchy hat.
Yeah.
And I made it too big. And I was like, I never wear it because nobody wears slouchy hats really anymore. You can see it's got rib to it. And what I did was I felted it. This is the same time I was warping the loom, by the way. I was like having a creative meltdown that day. I'm like, I can't make any hats. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So I decided I was going to felt it. And then my plan with it is, you see this hat here, which is a commercially bought hat, which I like. I might make a hat this style. So if you look at it, there's a round piece, and that could be the very top. I could cut that out around. Then there's another two pieces, actually. No, one piece which goes all the way around, which is flat. And then probably reinforce it with another layer or hem it. And then there's a cap peak to the cap. I don't know if I can
So are
make
you
all of
planning on-
that out of this, but
Like cutting that apart and making those
Yeah.
parts?
yeah,
Cool.
I know. I haven't done it yet, though. But that's the thinking. We'll see if I actually do it.
So I probably have said this before on the podcast, but that style hat, I have
Yeah.
got a whip.
Yeah?
That
Oh, you
is
do?
The plan, yeah.
This style.
Yes. So it's probably at least 15
See.
years old. I started
Yeah.
it, and it got a little tricky for me because I
Yeah.
wasn't that good of a knitter back then. And
This is ridiculous.
that is very slouchy.
Blah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of cute.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've never finished it, and
Yeah.
I've never like been super motivated to finish it. But
Yeah.
it was a kit, and
Yeah.
it came with like all the stuff you needed, and
Huh.
and then I got a little lost in the stitches, so it's like, and I saw something else shiny, so I had to go do that.
Yeah.
Of course, as happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't decided if I do make the peak, I've got to reinforce it with something. So I've got to buy
Yeah.
something for that.
It was
We'll
just
see.
like the stuff you use in sewing when
Yeah?
you want.
Oh, interfacing?
Yes,
I'm just your word person today.
you are. I appreciate that. That's
You're
why
welcome.
we had to start the podcast. I think you're my word person every day. Triple with words.
Thanks.
Okay. I think that's
Is that
it.
Yeah.
Come to the end of another Maine Yarn podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should remind people to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, because we're on.
Yeah, because we're on YouTube now.
Mostly on YouTube. I
Yeah.
have been putting the audio on, like the podcast channel or wherever, all the different podcast channels still.
Yeah.
But wondering if that's something I still need to keep doing, or like how we should approach that, because we've stopped like trying to describe things. I've noticed.
Oh, yeah,
We've-
that's true.
We've kind of fallen all the way into video.
Yeah, we have.
Let us know what you think. Let us know
Yeah.
if you actually listen to this audio only and
How
you've
should
made
they-
it this far.
How should they let us know? On Ravelry or?
Or you could go to the show notes at
Yeah.
knitwitportland.com
Yeah.
and click on the Maine Yarn podcast. And then if you go to each of the show notes, there should be a place underneath for comments.
Yeah.
You can just write things there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But that sounds good. Yeah.
cool.
So thank you, Knitwit.
You're welcome. So make sure you go out and get on the wait list for the subscription box and
Yes.
sign up for the retreat so we can
Yes.
hang out. And we will talk to you soon.
Great. Thanks.
Bye.
Happy knitting.